Hi, my name is Eugene Vtorov, and today my presentation is about our experience of integration 3D technologies into Magenta platform. Today I will tell you how we have brought to life the slogan, "As a customer, I should be able to see what I buy." I work at Neklo company in the Belarusian office. Other companies also have offices in Poland, USA, and Russia. One of our specialties is high-volume web service solutions. Most of our e-commerce solutions are Magenta e-commerce solutions. So I will tell you about integration of 3D technologies. I'm lead of project managers team. In my responsibilities, not only team management, but also large and complex projects. And today I will tell you about one of these projects. It will be about integration of 3D technologies to Magenta. Recently, a new client came to our office and asked us to build an e-commerce website based on Magenta platform. I thought this is a good idea because Magenta is a highly customizable solution and our company had a lot of experience with this. But after discussing in more details, it was clear that our client's business is not typical for internet. His company creates furniture from scratch. To be more precise, they create sofas and chairs. The main offer of his company is that they can create sofa of any configuration and shape. And client wanted us to build an e-commerce website with furniture configurator. There would not be an issue if our client sold already assembled sofas. In this case, we could make photos of all models, add interesting description, and combine all of those into smart and beautiful catalog. But what should we do where there are no products, when each new sofa is absolutely different from all the previous? What should we photograph? How to make customers be able to preview the sofa they're going to buy? So this task immediately became complicated. And at the same time, it was very interesting. First of all, I decided to investigate online stores which sell furniture. In most cases, there were catalogs with lots of photos, descriptions, customer reviews, sometimes it's video reviews, but also some websites offered more interesting solution. They display 3D model to me. I was able to rotate this model, look at it at a different angle, and some websites offered me much more interesting solution. They allowed me to change color of model, configure a few of its options, but that was not enough to fulfill our client's request, because all those sites sell already assembled sofas of most popular shapes and configurations. And there was no online solution which will let me to create sofa of my custom shape and configuration. But on some websites, I saw information that company can create sofa of custom shape and configuration. And to make my choice, they required me to go to their office. So I decided to visit several offices of such companies. This is not me, just a photo. In some cases, in general, the order flow was very similar in such companies. I Meet Manager, he told me a lot of information about their company. He told me all the details about their products. They told me what construction blocks used for sofa creation, give me all information about fabrics, about sofa details. They tell me everything. They give me big, large catalogs of fabric samples. But the most complicated task for me was to explain to manager what sofa shape I would like to purchase. After my explanation, manager started to create a blueprint. And sometimes this process required a lot of time because if there was anything I disliked in blueprint, manager needed to start it from the beginning. And even after all these actions, it was still very hard to imagine how sofa should look like after it will be built. In one company, manager offered me to create 3D model of future sofa. according to my blueprint and description. Several days later, when I came to their office, they presented a 3D model to me. I was impressed. It was really good 3D model. It was exactly like a photo of a sofa. It used exactly the same fabrics as I choose in catalog. It used all the details I choose, and it was exactly matched my blueprint. I was amazed. This was great. The only disadvantage of this process is that I required to go to office. I required to spend a lot of time with manager to explain how this model should look like and what shape should be. And they asked me to wait for several days. So, after all my adventures, I understood that purchasing sofa of custom shape and configuration is a very complicated task, even for offline store. But my new experience helped me to understand how this process can be implemented online. As a result, we have created our solution, which now we are proud of. So, we have created Magenta-based website. It allowed user to create a blueprint of his future sofa using construction blocks. After creating a blueprint, website will immediately present photorealistic 3D model of sofa based on this blueprint and configuration options chosen by user. User is able to change all options of the sofa, such as armrests, legs, number of pillows, fabrics, and also user is able to choose fabric not only for the whole sofa, but he's also able to choose fabric for all separate parts as well. So let me tell in more details about our solution. We have removed our client's information from screenshots due to our mutual NDA. So, as I already said, the first step we offer to user is 2D constructor, which allows user to create a blueprint of his future sofa. You may ask me why we use 2D instead of 3D. We performed a small research and it led us to the following result. It is much more convenient for users to define sofa shape and create blueprint using 2D images instead of 3D. So we are using 2D constructor. We have created our constructor in accordance with the following rules. It was such a basis during our development. It should be as easy to use for customers as possible. It should be convenient for customers. And at the same time, it should be powerful and informative. As a result, we created a very good tool. It uses sofa block images, which are relative to real block life sizes. This helps user to correctly evaluate the sofa dimensions. Also, as you can see, we display the whole sofa dimensions. So user, when look at this blueprint, can imagine his future sofa. The next interesting feature of our constructor is that we will not allow user to connect blocks in the wrong order. What does this mean? This means that user will always create only correct blueprints without any special knowledge. And the last brilliant feature is that user at any step of configuration flow can get back to this 2D constructor and change blueprint by removing or adding new blocks. The next step are all other steps we offer to perform in 3D configurator. All sofa options can be defined in this configurator, in 3D configurator. Such options as type of armrests, pillows, legs, fabrics, all options. The amount of options only depends on client's needs and possibilities. 3D configurator displays photorealistic, high-quality image of 3D model. Our designers worked very hard to create such models. You can see shadows on these models. These models look like real photos. And the most interesting feature that instead of when I went to office, the customer is not required to wait. After each change, model is immediately updated, and all changes are shown on this 3D model. Let's configure sample sofa. For example, I want to change the type of armrest. And now I want to change the type of back pillows. And let's change, you may notice, it's not clearly seen here. You may see that legs are black. Let's change them to golden color. And let's check how our sofa will look with green colored fabric. Great. Process of choosing fabric is absolutely different from this process in offline store. We try to simplify this process and make it super convenient for user. We grouped all fabrics to catalog and group them according to type and color. And now I don't need to imagine the sofa. I just need to pick fabric in catalog and take a look on the 3D model. It's immediately updated. And as I previously said, we also can change fabrics for sofa parts. For example, let's check how a sofa will look with pink colored back pillows. Oh, I think someone will like it, but not me. Let's change them back. And so we have configured our sofa. I can rotate it. I can show in this on presentation, but believe me, I can rotate it. I can see it at any angle. I can show it to my friends and get their feedback. So it's time to put it into Magenta shopping cart. On this page, I can see the list of all options which I have configured. I can see 3D model of my sofa, which exactly matched my blueprint and all selected configuration options. And I can see the blueprint of my sofa with all the details. This means that now I can definitely say, I see what I buy. Let me tell you a few words about infrastructure of our solution. The most simplest configuration of our solution consists of 3 servers: 3D render server, cache server, Magenta server. 3D render server is running our software, which is responsible for rendering complex models with a lot of vertices. It's large model files. 3D render servers allows to combine several models into a single model. It allows to change texture files of models. It allows to control camera. And the most important thing, it renders model to high quality photorealistic images. 3D render server is a physical computer with a lot of memory and professional graphic card. It uses high capacity hard disk to store all model files. Our software consists of 2 components. It's render engine and web server. Render engine allows to use all hardware capabilities of graphic card to get maximum performance for all rendering operations. Web server component is responsible for interaction with render engine using HTTP protocol. Cache server. We use cache server to decrease the number of requests to 3D render server. It stores all images produced by render server along with the request. So when new request came to cache server, it checks for stored image. And if there is no stored image, it generates request to 3D render server and stores newly produced image. If it finds stored image, it immediately returns image as a result of response. And another interesting feature, another function of cache server, it performs load balancing. It allows to combine several render servers to single cluster. This helps us to create scalable rendering solution. So we may use multiple render servers as a render cluster. Oh. Magenta Server is at the heart of our solution. It is responsible for all e-commerce operations and interaction with customer. It performs deep analysis of all input data and generates requests to 3D render server. We like Magenta because it is a highly customizable solution. I'm not going to tell you about all the brilliant features of Magenta versus other e-commerce platforms. I think you already know them. I will tell you what we have done in Magenta. Almost all Magenta functionality remained untouched. To make it possible to put in shopping cart and make an order of such complex product as sofa with a lot of options, we use significantly modified Magenta bundle product. To be more precise, we created a new type of product which is similar to Magenta bundle product. All sofa configuration options such as pillows, fabrics, legs, armrests, everything, construction blocks, these all are simple products in Magenta. What does this mean for our client? This means that client can change this option, can add new, remove, or modify without any extra development. He can set individual prices for each options. This means that our client can customize this solution without development. So let's recap what we have done and where it can be used. We created very convenient 2D constructor, which allows to create a blueprint from set of construction blocks. We created very powerful 3D configurator, which allows to combine several 3D models to single model. It allows to change texture of models. It allows to control camera settings. And we have integrated our 3D solution to powerful and very customizable e-commerce platform Magenta. You may ask me, why we don't use WebGL technology? It allows to perform render operation directly on user computer without any additional servers. But only modern browsers supports WebGL technology. Only top model of smartphones supports WebGL technology. This means that using of WebGL technology will significantly reduce the amount of supported devices. And another main thing why we use our solution instead of WebGL is that our client and our goal was to get photorealistic, high-quality images of models. To achieve this, we use very large models with a lot of vertices, with high-definition, high-resolution texture files. For example, average size of one model is about 400 megabytes. Transferring such large amount of data to user computer to perform rendering using WebGL is not a good idea. This means that WebGL is not suitable for our solution. And two remaining things is that we have created our solution in accordance with two main requirements. It's flexibility and scalability. Scalability allows to scale our solution by using clusters. So we may involve more servers to get more performance. This is applicable for render servers. And also it is applicable for Magenta servers. My colleague told yesterday how we scale Magenta using Amazon Cloud. And flexibility. When we create our solution, we thought about other business areas. This means that our solution is possible to use in any business area where it is not possible to get photos of products, or where it is required to get photorealistic, high-quality images of 3D models. So we are very grateful to our client for this interesting project. This project helped us to prove that Magenta and 3D technologies can and should live together. Thank you. Please feel free to ask any questions. Any questions?
How long does it take to generate a 3D model?
You know, rendering a 3D model is very complex process. It completely depends on 3D model, on server, and so on. So there are many factors that influence this process. In our solution, it takes about few seconds to render one model. But if you use a bad server, it may take a long time. This depends on server and model. We don't discuss benefits with customer, but he was very happy. Hmm? Yeah. Yes. And if we take into account that 3D technologies are improving each year, that graphic cards are improving each year, this means that performance of rendering will improve each year. So, any other questions? Well, thanks again for your attention.